Yo, what's up, guys? Kevin here. Welcome to the Snowboard Pro Camp live chat. Coming to you guys from Portugal on a bit of a summer surf trip here in Portugal. But yeah, on to talk to you guys about snowboarding, answer any of your snowboard questions, and also to talk to you guys about the upcoming season. So I know that in recently Vail let everyone know their new rules for the upcoming season with regards to reservations and like the process of everything that's going to happen for the upcoming season. So yeah, we can discuss that and yeah, just get some feedback from you guys as well. I know that we have a lot of people on the chat who have actually experienced a winter season down in Australia or New Zealand and have had experience with some of the new rules for resorts and everything. So I'm going to talk to you guys about that and yeah, just answer any of your snowboard questions. So if you guys haven't yet, subscribe here to Snowboard Pro Camp, like this video, and yeah, let's get this underway. Quickly give some people some shout outs for tuning in. Thanks everyone for tuning in early. We got Adam Bad Riders here from Australia. Thanks for tuning in, man. We got El Stacker Adventures saying cannonball the like button. Thanks, El Stacker. We got our friend Engen on the chat as well. Thanks for tuning in, Engen. Trinity Sarah, Wesley Hart, Nate Watson, Kaliki on here from Mount Hood. Awesome, all the way from Oregon. Love Mount Hood. We got Carrie Pierce, the Discount Snowboarder. And yeah, tons of people on here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Dean Foster is saying, bought my Epic Pass, pumped for the, pumped for reservations. There may be some sarcasm in that. So yeah, one big thing I think coming up for the season is if you have the Epic Pass through Vail, on their website, it says you're gonna have to reserve your spot. And I guess they're reserving they guarantee you 7 days at least of reservations, so that's good. I guess if you're booking a trip somewhere and you're going for a week, you're guaranteed 7, and that's once, and any other day you have to reserve the night before. And I guess there's definitely some concerns there. I've talked to our friend Chuck down in Australia. He experienced I guess like a Vail season down there with some of the new rules and gave some feedback. And yeah, there's definitely, I guess, some concerns. One concern could be with reservations is the website crashing. I know that I've heard people talk about that. Chuck mentioned it, that there could be the possibility of thousands of people trying to reserve for the next day and the potential for a website crash. So that's definitely a concern for the upcoming season. And also, yeah, with reservations, if you're snowboarding with a group of people, if you have like a couple other friends who are looking to reserve as well, and maybe your friend who's going to show you the place to ride on the mountain that day, maybe in the trees or some secret spot, and then your friends don't get a reservation, but you do, that could also take away from your chance of riding, because it is fun to ride by yourself sometimes, but it's definitely safer to ride with your friends in a group. So definitely a few potential concerns about the reservation system. And yeah, I guess I understand that with the situation, yeah, reserving may be necessary, but at the same time doesn't necessarily mean that yeah, we should buy a season's pass either. So it's weighing the pros and cons of the new rule stuff. So yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, let's get into some more questions and hear more of your guys' feedback. The Discount Snowboarder says, what about the Icon Pass resorts? Yeah, I haven't seen anything yet about the Icon Pass resorts. I don't know if you guys have any info, if they've released anything for the new rules. I actually bought my Icon Pass about a month or 2 months ago. Because I recently went snowboarding in Zermatt, Switzerland, and I thought I could use it in Zermatt, but apparently it doesn't work for summer riding. So I have my Icon Pass, haven't used it yet, but we'll see what rules they roll out. And we got Chuck Van on the live chat watching from Newcastle, Australia. Shout out to everyone watching from down in Oz. We've got Lockley Born on here. Lucas wants a slushy snow tutorial. If I get some slushy snow, Lucas, I'll make a tutorial for you, man. Lucas saying greetings from Brazil. Yeah, shout out to everyone down in Brazil. I'm in Portugal at the moment, so there's kind of a connection there between Portugal and Brazil. We got Durian Griffin watching from North Carolina. Awesome. And Corey from Snowbowl. Yes, sir says, do you think the resorts will just run the lifts and close the lodges? So apparently what I read from Vail is they're going to run the lifts, but there's going to be social distancing on the lift. So you'll be, I think if it's like a 4 or 6 person chair, like they'll spread you out into twos, I guess. Or if somehow, if they know that you're in a group, like if you, I don't know how they would know, but if you're with like your family, maybe they would let you on and say like with more. I'm not 100% on that, but yeah, that's another concern for sure, is that if, you know, the resort last season, if it was already busy and with long lines, what's going to happen when you're getting like 2 people per chair or only 2 or 4 people per gondola? It's definitely a concern with what's going to happen with the lift lines. And I think with the lodges too, I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen with the lodges, but I'm sure there's going to be restricted numbers of people like being allowed into the lodges, which again is kind of, the lodges are already crammed full of people like last season and regular season. So when they start limiting the numbers, I think it'll probably be best to like bring your lunch and hopefully have a place to store it. So yeah, a few new things to plan for. All right. Kanan saying hi from Big Bear. Hope to meet you next time you're here. Yeah, definitely. Had a great time snowboarding in Big Bear, and we'll 100% be back this winter. And Keegan saying Red Resort just added to the Icon Pass. Have you ever been to Red? I've never had, but yeah, I've been pretty interested in riding Red at Red Mountain. I think if it's the same resort I'm thinking of, Red Mountain, I think it's like close to the border of BC and Alberta. Yeah, I'm really interested in riding there, so that may be an option this season. I've been thinking a lot about where I want to snowboard this year, and like also for giving you guys advice on possible places to go. And I'm really thinking that maybe the smaller, less known resorts could be the spots to hit. Places like Red Mountain. Yeah, just the places that are maybe not the most popular or even necessarily the best resorts, but places where, you know, they'll have smaller lift lines, where if there is a reservation process, it's going to be, you know, less people reserving. So hopefully like you can get through 100% of the time. Some feedback I got from Chuck on the channel is that he said he got to go snowboarding about 2/3 of like what he wanted to go. So that's something to keep into take into consideration, is that yeah, 2/3, that's a lot less. I want to ride 100% of the days I want to go snowboarding. So maybe the answer will be to go to some of those lesser known smaller resorts. So if you guys have any suggestions for that too, that would be amazing to hear. Manolo is saying pumped to go to Park City. Yeah, I would love to visit Utah as well. Check out, I know Utah gets some amazing snow. Oh, and Austin saying just booked a trip to Banff, hoping the Canada border opens up. Yeah, that's another thing, is right now the border between Canada and the US is shut. But also across the board in all kinds of different countries, borders are still closed. New Zealand, Australia, even coming here to flying from England to Portugal, something to let you guys know about if anyone's in the area. But we flew with EasyJet, and EasyJet actually initially denied us entry onto the plane to fly to Portugal because they had old information about flight rules and with like different countries and passports. So they were telling us that Canadians weren't allowed to fly to Portugal, and so we pretty quickly figured out that they had the wrong information, and they were actually stopping quite a few people from traveling. And we figured it out, presented the new information, and we were allowed to fly the next day. But yeah, a lot of countries are closed. Some airlines have the wrong information with who's allowed to fly where. So making plans and booking trips is definitely can be a challenge. For me, like at the moment with the border closed, I feel like right now I'm in Europe, so I'll be snowboarding in Switzerland and Austria coming up. So those are two places I know that I can get to. And then once the winter comes around, like I'm Canadian, so I'll probably be sticking with Canadian resorts. That's probably be my number one priority. But then as places open up, that's when I'll start to make reservations or book trips. But I feel like it's going to be some last minute kind of trip booking, unless things open up earlier, which is hopefully things do that. Tristan with a really cool recommendation too. Thoughts on Nakiska in Alberta? Yeah, I've actually been learning about that resort. I hope I'm saying it right, Nakiska, and apparently it gets like among like the most snow in all of Canada. So yeah, it's a place for sure on my radar. I've been learning more about that resort because yeah, it's in Canada. It's in the Rocky Mountains, and it also is a place that gets tons of snow. So hopefully get to ride there this season. El Stacker saying loving the new live stream setup. Thanks, man. Yeah, just in our I guess surf inspired hut here in Portugal, man. All right. Board Through the Pain says Snowshoe just posted opening days. Awesome. Yeah, that's another thing too. I think some resorts are actually pushing their opening days like back a little bit. So yeah, I don't know if there'll be many early openings to seasons, but yeah, we'll find out. Adam from Bad Riders wants to know, will the rental industry die with these restrictions? And who here still rides rental gear? Yeah, that's a good question. It's hopefully still people are still renting. It's gonna make it, yeah, it's gonna make it a little bit tricky. I feel like one side of it that's really gonna hurt is the employment side of like the workers in the ski snowboard industry, because if a lot of resorts actually rely on overseas workers to, like in Whistler, most of the workers come from overseas, whether it's Australia or England or somewhere else like around the world. Tons of people come from overseas to work in Whistler, and so if people can't travel, there's gonna be a big problem with like, yeah, the rental workers, the whole industry actually, like the people that work the lifts, all that kind of stuff is gonna be affected. So I could see there being less shops open, less rental areas open, and even less parts of the mountain if they're understaffed. So yeah, maybe they'll have to try to do more job fairs locally and not try to get workers from overseas. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. All right. Dean Foster saying, dang, you might as well get the local Epic Pass if you only get 7 days. Don't be like me and buy the most expensive pass. Yes, definitely going to change people's buying decisions for sure. Wyatt saying hello from Canada. Stoke Dog 8 saying, is there still going to be a singles line? Yeah, that'll be interesting how they set up the lines. Yeah, will there be a singles line if there's no, yeah, if everyone has to go up in singles? That'll be interesting to see. And Jensen saying, when does the powder riding videos come? Yeah, as soon as there's fresh powder, I'll be definitely making some POW riding videos. Scott is saying, how is everyone not moving to Icon Pass now that the Epic Pass is doing reservations? Icon seems the way to go. That's a good point, Scott. I think the one thing will just be, though, to wait to see if Icon does the same thing, because there's a chance that Icon will just roll out their own reservation system. So, yeah, we'll have to I think just wait and see. Unfortunately, with those passes too, they're cheaper the earlier you buy them. So it's this kind of thing where you may buy it early and then they roll out these new rules and plans like last minute. So I think the best call is maybe to wait a bit. Joaquim saying, I'm from Minnesota, USA. Is there anything that they have changed on the hills, like park? Because at my resort, people like to crowd up at the top and talk and watch runs. I haven't heard too much about the actual like runs and that sort of thing. I feel like because it's like outdoor spaces, or like wide, big spaces, it's a bit, it's going to be less controlled. But yeah, I think that stuff should be fairly normal. I haven't heard any rules around that. Kat is saying, Perisher had the motto, live together, ride together, otherwise max 3 on an 8-seater chair. Okay, thanks for the feedback, Kaz. And Bad Rider is saying, more resorts need the pizza box lift, perfect for social distancing. Yeah, I'm down for that. So if you guys have seen some of the Japan videos, in Niseko, they have a few chairlifts actually, I believe, that are just like a single chair, like the size of a pizza box that you sit on. So I'd be down for more lifts like that for sure. All right, just gonna scroll down a bit, guys, get caught up on some of these questions. Carrie Pierce with a super chat from Australia. Thanks for the support, Carrie. First super chat of the chat, saying, feeling the need to buy something snowboard related. Heard any bad things about binding bags? Oh, interesting. Binding bags. You mean like the bags that attach onto your bindings so you can carry things in? I haven't heard anything bad about those. I think, yeah, that could be good. If you've got some extra stuff to carry in a bag attached to your binding, that could be. I've seen a few on the hills, so yeah, that could be a good one. If you've got some stuff to go in there, yeah, go for it, Carrie. That's an interesting one. I haven't seen many of those on like websites. Where would you buy a binding bag, Carrie? Yeah, let us know. Philippe with the super chat. Thanks for the support, man. If you have a question, Philippe, I'll look out for it. He just says some funds. Thanks, man. Lucas with a resort recommendation saying Brian Head in Utah. It's a small resort. I really like it. Awesome, Lucas. We'll check it out. Brian Head. We'll check that one out. Briani saying, what is the best board for mostly park and some jumps? Brianna, it depends if you're like beginner, intermediate, advanced park rider. Different park boards for different abilities and different like what you prefer to do. But I would say the more advanced or more beginner you are, the softer board you want. Maybe a board with some rocker in it, and you definitely want to get a twin park board. And yeah, start at a low price point. I think the more advanced you get in the park, typically, not always, but the boards start to get a bit stiffer and also moving towards more full camber. It's better for handling like fast speeds, larger jumps. But yeah, check out some boards. Just you can do a lot of websites. You can just go and like filter, search by park boards, look for true twin, And yeah, check out some that have some rocker, and look at the boards too that are more inexpensive if you're that more like beginner intermediate park rider. Alfie saying thoughts on Park City, Utah. I haven't been there. I've had some friends snowboard in Park City. The terrain park there looks incredible, so I know they have a good park. But also I know that or sorry, I guess the resort. Which resort in Park City? There's a whole bunch of different resorts, but I know they have good terrain parks around Park City in the resorts, and I know that Utah gets a ton of snow, so I definitely want to visit Utah for the terrain parks and also for the amount of snowfall. I'm bad at gaming says I know softboards are great for park overall and rails, but what is the best flex rating on a board to hit bigger jumps to help with landing stability? Yeah, I definitely think a stiffer park board. So for me right now, my park board is the Capita, the Outsiders, and the Flex I believe is about a 6. So that's like fairly stiff for a park board. So for me, when I'm landing bigger jumps, that stiffness definitely helps. So I'd go for something around a 5 or 6 for more stability on jumps. Marty's saying down here in Australia, it was hard getting passes as the season started. Then really easy halfway in as they released more. Okay, interesting. So yeah, I guess at the beginning it was a lot of a big demand, and yeah, maybe they didn't anticipate that. But yeah, we'll see how they handle things moving forward here in the North American season or Northern Hemisphere season. Drew wants to know, after Corona, would you come back to Oz with TJ? Definitely, yeah. I would love to go back to Australia and New Zealand. Hopefully this time next year. One of my favorite places to ride for sure. Philippe says, I think the best way to avoid crowds is defo going for hikes. Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like a lot of people this season, instead of relying on the resorts, may get into backcountry snowboarding, which can be a lot of fun. I think yeah, if anyone's interested in getting into the backcountry snowboarding, the first place to start, I think, is definitely with an avalanche course. Avalanche courses are awesome for keeping you safe and teaching you about the mountains, but also you get to like you rent gear for the course, or you can buy gear, and you get a chance to like use the gear for the first time, or like learn how to use some of the gear, and it's awesome. So I definitely gonna do some more backcountry snowboarding this season, depending on the snow and what opens. But yeah, that could be the way to go for a lot of people for sure. But doing it safely is like definitely the most important thing, because there's a lot of risk with backcountry snowboarding too. Carrie's saying, I just need it for my lock and wallet, really. Okay, so yeah, a binding bag for your lock and wallet. It sounds pretty good. I'd be a little bit worried that maybe for me, like something catching onto that, as long as nothing could catch onto it and just like rip the bag off, like while you're snowboarding somewhere. But I'm sure they've got those things dialed in. But yeah, that would be convenient for sure. Nate saying, assume they open the border. What U.S. resorts are you planning to hit? Would love to go back to Big Bear in California. Had a great time riding the park there. So many places. I feel like the whole sort of West Coast there, from going back to Washington, to Oregon. Would love to go back to Mount Bachelor in Oregon. Also, some places more interior like Utah would be fun. I've never been to Utah before, so it'd be cool to check that out. But yeah, so many places. Well, I've seen a few people calling out 200 watchers, only 45 likes. Smash the like button, people. Awesome. Thanks for that. Bored through the pain. Well, we got 61 likes, 65. Yeah, let's see. I think we can get to 100. We'll keep an eye on it, see if it gets to 100. Trevor Noon saying chairlift rules. Yeah, I think this season there's going to be some less people on the chairlift, so keeping people distanced. So two, I guess two or maybe three on a larger chair. But yeah, something to consider when you're going to a resort. I know for me, like there's some resorts that I've been to that are already so busy, even at full chairlift capacity, that like last season I had one day that I was probably in the lift lines for like 2 hours before I got to the top of the mountain in Whistler. And so on a day like that, on top of that, adding COVID rules, like is it even worth it to attempt to go snowboarding that day, or would it be better to like try a smaller resort? So that's definitely something that I'm gonna consider and think about, because yeah, it was some places, some resorts are just, they're just busy. So with distancing and stuff, it may be a better opportunity to snowboard and actually get more time snowboarding, going to some of the smaller, lesser known places. And Traveling Rabbit wants to know, have you thought of going to Alaska to check out the snow? Yeah, there's a resort in Alaska. I think it's called Alyeska. And it looks amazing. It's another place that gets like amounts of snowfall. So yeah, we'd love to check out snowboarding in Alaska too. Shadow Hunter 51 says, when do reservations open up? Um, yeah, I believe that it's going to be like, I think you're going to be only be able to reserve like the day before. If anyone knows anything different, let me know. But I think you're guaranteed like seven reservations. So and I'm assuming you can do seven in a row. So you're guaranteed seven, but then beyond that, I think you have to reserve the day before. And Cushy Jones says, sounds like I won't be traveling much, just focusing on my home resort this season. Yeah, and I feel like for some people, like your home resort or your home, even resorts around like more local is sometimes the places that you overlook. Like even for myself, there's so many places in BC that I haven't visited to snowboard, and I've lived there for like over 15 years. So sometimes the places that are at your doorstep are the places that you overlook, and it can definitely, maybe it's a good opportunity to explore some of those, more local places where you don't need to commit to travel and hoping like borders open and like expensive season passes. Yeah, but that being said, it's also fun for the adventure too, to traveling far and exploring. So I definitely, hopefully for myself, I'll be able to do more, but maybe I'll have some chances to explore some of the local stuff as well. Bad Riders wants to know, how cold is the water in Portugal? So today the water it was cold. Yeah, the water. So it's on the Atlantic Ocean, and the Atlantic Ocean here is fairly chilly, and yeah, I would say it's cold water. So for surfing, you do have to wear like a wetsuit. But it's not the coldest water I've been in. It's definitely some places on the west coast of North America and the west coast of Vancouver Island. The water is like very cold there. It's not quite as cold as that. Chuck Van saying there was a singles line at Perisher. Depends on the lift capacity. Three on an 8-seater, two on a 4-seater, one on a T-bar. Unless you live together, ride together. Okay, awesome. Thanks for the info, Chuck. All right, Wyatt saying hello from Washington, California. Lucas saying get some pizzas in the chat. Pizza time, awesome man. Micah wants to know what's the info on Mount Hood. Yeah, if anyone has any info on Mount Hood in Oregon, let us know. We got Imran watching from Russia. What's up, Imran? Uh, Mardion, any tips, any suggestions for riding switch? Definitely practice your switch riding as much as possible. Any place, like if you're doing a run and there's a part of the run that's like easy for you to ride the normal way, do that portion switch. And then every time you're riding, whenever you see that easy area of the slope, ride it switch and just try to do more and more. If you can do half of your day of riding switch, then you're going to get good at it very quickly. Wow, tons of questions on here, guys. All right, we made it over 100 likes. Thank you guys, 112 likes and 180 people watching. Awesome. Louis says, what is a stomp pad? So a stomp pad is, it's like a sticker, but it's got grip on the top of it, and you put it in the center of your board, closer to your back binding. And so when you're skating, like if you're doing a 1 foot off of the chairlift, then you can put your free foot, the foot that's not connected to your board, and put it on the stomp pad, and it just helps so that your boot doesn't slip off of your board. Super valuable. I haven't had a stomp pad in a while, and I miss it, so I need to get some stomp pads. Marlon wants to know best places to snowboard on a 5-day trip to Colorado. Oh man, that's a tough question. There's a ton of good places to ride in Colorado. Man, I don't know. There's the problem with, yeah, I think one of the issues with Colorado is it can get very busy. So if I was you, Marlon, I would look into which resort is the least busy, especially with this upcoming season where there are some variables that could make it even more busy. Maybe look into what places are the quietest places to go in Colorado. Robert saying, obviously, with a lot of people looking to be cautious, or maybe it may be hard to it may be hard for beginners to find buddies to ride with. What would you recommend for beginners who may need to ride solo? Yeah, if you're like a beginner or any rider really, I would say if you're riding solo, definitely don't like stick to the runs. Don't ride like into the trees or off the groomed like piste without friends to look out for you. So yeah, that would be one thing. But a lot of times, if you're riding the chair riding by yourself, it can be fairly easy to make friends. Like if you get on the chair and I guess this season, if there's only two of you on the chair, you could yeah, just find out if anyone else is riding solo. And there's quite a few. I feel like beginners and like beginners to low intermediate probably make up like most of the riders on the mountain. So the people that are like the crazy like pros and experts, there's maybe like only one or two or a small handful at any resort. So most people I think you talk to who are snowboarders on the resort fit into that like beginner or intermediate who like would be happy to like make friends and have other people to ride with. So yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. Just talk to people on the chair. Philippe says, I just hope resorts schedules are not cut short this upcoming season. Yeah, definitely. Like it was a real bummer this past season to have everything shut down like early March. So that was tough for sure. So hopefully we get a full season and it runs as smoothly as possible for sure. Javi says, I'm about to buy my first board. I'm a beginner. What do you think about the Burton Ripcord? Yeah, I think that's a good first board, good beginner board for sure. Just make sure that the bindings you get with it are will work with the Burton Ripcord. So I'd recommend, yeah, the Burton Ripcord. I believe it has the EST channel system. So then get EST bindings. Which to be honest, I'm not my favorite binding system isn't the EST. I feel like sometimes they tend to like move a little bit. So I don't know if you have your heart set on the ripcord, go with that. But you could also go with a comparable board from another brand that has the more traditional like four-hole disc system for the bindings. And I would actually recommend that. Maybe look into some of the other brands, and if you can get a comparable board without the EST channel system by Burton, I'd recommend that. Bad Rider saying Falls Creek is calling, Kev. Jill can come too. Awesome. Falls Creek, Australia is yeah. How's the snow there, Adam? Are you guys? Is it even open? Is Falls Creek open? Let me know, man. Oh, bored through the pain saying Avalanche Beacon and a good book on the subject are a great way to lead in. Yeah, good point. A book about backcountry, avalanche safety, all that stuff is a good thing to start reading about before you get into your avalanche course. Really good point. Miguel says, I'm from Mexico and canceled my holiday to Whistler last April because of COVID. Do you think it would be possible to snowboard next year normally? Um, I don't know. I'm leaning towards it probably won't be normal. I don't know what the travel restrictions are between Mexico and Canada, but I don't know. Yeah, riding in Whistler from Mexico may not be possible, but we'll have to wait and find out. Machine Focus wants to know what time is it in Portugal. So I think it is just after midnight here, so maybe like quarter after 12. Scott saying the backcountry is going to be overrun here in Wasatch Front in Utah. Everyone is talking about hitting the backcountry in in lieu of buying a pass. Yeah, I guess that could be true. There could be a lot of people in the backcountry. Hopefully, everyone does it safely and stays safe. Tons of questions on here, guys. Bread is my oatmeal saying 499K subscribers, bro. Let's go. Awesome. Thanks for the support, man. Yeah, we're probably gonna hit that 500K mark in the next week or two. But yeah, if anyone hasn't yet, definitely subscribe and hit the bell so that you get notified every time I do a live chat, which is every Thursday. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. Snowboard Life 4T says, "What's up, Kevin? It's been a while since I've seen you. How's TJ? It's been a while since I've seen you. How's TJ? Yeah, I think so. TJ is in Denver, Colorado, and I think I heard that his plan was to start snowboarding again in October. So hopefully, see some more content from TJ coming soon. But yeah, things have been good here in Portugal, doing a bit of a summer trip and going snowboarding in a couple weeks in Zermatt, Switzerland. And then the plan is to head over to Austria after that to Hintertux. So yeah, some snowboard trips coming up. Eric saying, "Hey Kevin, check out Powder King. It's a smaller hill in northern BC, but it was the last one open last year when all the resorts closed." Awesome. Thanks for the advice. So we got Powder King. Ooh, sounds good. Sounds very good. Okay, Powder King, BC. Look into that one. Hopefully all these like secret small hidden spots don't get spoiled this year from everyone going to new places. But yeah, I guess it's the best thing is to share the secrets. Yeah, so let us know, guys. Where's the best place? Where's like some undiscovered places to snowboard this season? Benjamin saying, "How about Cyprus?" So there's a resort near Vancouver. There's actually 3 resorts, but Cyprus is one of them, and that's another place where, yeah, it's one of my local resorts, not too far from Whistler, and maybe a place we'll have to ride more this season. And hopefully Cyprus doesn't have is running smoothly this winter. Max saying, "Any tips for a beginner getting used to having skiers and boarders flying past you and potentially hitting you from behind?" Yeah, Max, that can definitely be scary when you're like, working on your turns and you have people flying by. But I would say the best thing is to, when you are riding down the slope, like the people behind you should be, looking forward and being responsible and everything. But the more that you can make like your turns predictable, the better. So when you're riding down and making your turns, just try to make them like, in a rhythm, predictable, so that if anybody is coming up from behind, they kind of see like what you're gonna do. I think sometimes accidents happen when somebody cuts across a run suddenly, or maybe does something a bit out of like the rhythm that can throw people off, even though they should be looking. I feel like that's when sometimes accidents can happen. So yeah, just make your turns as predictable as possible, and if you can, like, stay away from some of those busier places. And normally there's like parts of the run too that are a bit more, I guess, like or maybe be aware of the places where there's potential like hazards. Like, so if you see, maybe there's like somebody's doing a jump off on the side, like try to avoid those kinds of areas. And also like avoid stopping somewhere where the people behind you can't see you. So if you need to stop, just like pull over to the side somewhere where everyone can see you. I think that's like the best and safest way to do it. But yeah, other than that, and then if you are like merging in with another run, always like, yeah, definitely check up that run to make sure that when you are merging that it's going to be all good. But yeah, I feel like sometimes run-ins happen, but if you are, doing everything you can, I feel like it's super, super rare. So, yeah, just remember that too. It's rare for a collision to happen. Jason saying Whistler Blackcomb reservations. The exclusive reservation window runs November 6th through December 7th. Okay, interesting. I'm not sure what that means, but I'll have to like learn more about reserving. Zach says, "What is it like flying with COVID? Anyone got any experience with that? Got my annual trip coming up in the new year, but haven't flown since the lockdown." Um, yeah, what's traveling been like? I think flying on a plane is kind of similar, except they like you're wearing the mask and everything. Also, stuff like food has I think been cut off on some airlines, so you may not get like a mid-flight meal, um, or you may not have a choice. They may just like hand you something wrapped up. So yeah, some of the food options have been limited, um, and they like yeah just mandatory face masks. And I think in terms of like seating, a lot of the planes have been full that I've been on, but they do hand out like sanitizer and stuff sometimes on planes. So yeah, but other than that, they do try to like yeah you may like make sure that the country you're flying from, if you are flying internationally, that you can fly to that country, that it's open for where you're flying from. So yeah, a few things to look into before you travel, but it's not crazy different. Ryan says, "Hope you're doing well and enjoyed Switzerland. Do you think it's possible for you to do a mini series from beginner upwards on tricks, and your own recommendations on how to build and learn skills?" Beginner upwards on tricks. Yeah, that's a great series. That's like I do have some videos like that, but it would be really cool to make it like a laid out series of how to learn tricks. Yeah, from your very first trick, and even the skills. There's definitely a few skills that you want to have before even attempting a trick. But there's some videos on the channel now that are like that, but I could definitely turn it into like say like an 8-part series or something, where you go from learning the skills you need for tricks and then going into maybe the first 5 or 6 like very first tricks to learn. But yeah, great recommendation, man. Thanks for that. All right. Um, Shoes says, in New Jersey, Big Snow has opened and is available based on reservations only. Hey, Jill.
Hey.
Um, cool. So Big Snow, that's the indoor resort in New Jersey. So that would be cool to check out. But yeah, reservations only. So you got to reserve ahead of time. All right, just gonna scroll down a bit, guys. El Stacker sending some potatoes from Idaho. Thanks, man. Maybe hopefully get to snowboard in Idaho this season. The Sun City Anthem wants to know, do you think a 12-foot trampoline is enough to practice tricks on? Yeah, I think that should be good. Chuck Van with the super chat. Thanks for the support, Chuck. He says, what YouTubers are the most excited? Are you the most excited to collab with this season? Any different kinds of videos that you have in mind to make? Shout out to the hashtag DWCP crew. Awesome, man. Chuck, yeah, great question, man. I'll say for the upcoming, I know that there's going to be a chance to collaborate with Janice in a few weeks. I know that she's been mentioning that she's going to be in Austria in October, and so I'm gonna be there about the same time. So hopefully excited, yeah, really excited to collaborate with her, and yeah, I guess it'll just like depend. There's so many YouTubers down in the States I love collaborating with, but that's kind of up in the air at the moment. And any different kinds of videos. So I recently got the 360 Max by GoPro, so I'm really stoked on that camera, and I'm excited to make some videos with the GoPro Max and just like see what kind of creative like transitions or angles or like things I can film with that. So I'm excited about the Max, and yeah, I want to shout out to all the other snowboard YouTubers out there, but gonna be hopefully collaborating with Janice very soon. So that's that's what's going down. Yeah, Chuck, thanks for the support, man. And Jen shouting out Bent Metal Bindings, saying Bent Metal for life. Awesome, and Jen. And Banana Chew saying, "Hiya, Kevin. What's the move for wearing COVID masks on the lift? If you normally wear a boarding face mask, like do you swap it back and forth while on the lift?" I think it kind of depends. Like, so recently I was in Zermatt, Switzerland, and you had to wear like a real, like, medical mask on the gondola. But I think that was because, excuse me, I think that was because it was summertime and nobody was wearing their like winter face masks. But I think that once the winter comes around and is cold, I think the winter, like, yeah, the ski mask or whatever is gonna have to do, because you can't have people like switching back and forth between their like face mask and a medical mask. I don't think they'll make us do that, but yeah, we'll find out. I think it's just gonna be like face mask. All right, let's get into a few more questions, guys. Again, thanks everyone for tuning in, and yeah, appreciate you guys coming to hang out. Love talking to you guys. Nate saying, "Do chickens have large talons?" I don't know. That's a good question though. Uh, Miguel, is the Huck Knife Pro a good beginner board? No, I don't think it's a good beginner board. I think it's too stiff of a park board for a beginner. So I think the regular Huck Knife is probably a better choice for like a beginner, low intermediate. Yeah, like the Huck Knife Pro is like a stiffer and I think more expensive version of just the regular Huck Knife. So I would just go with the regular one. Oh man, tons of stuff going on in this chat. Feed Me saying, "What's your thoughts on the reservation system? Just joined." Yeah, so I think, yeah, just from getting some feedback from people on here, um, and just my own thoughts as well, is that, yeah, a few things that could come into play is if you reserve, even if you get through, maybe your friends that you were going snowboarding with, their reservations don't go through, and so then you're stuck either having to snowboard by yourself or not going. So that can be an issue for sure. Um, the website crashing. A friend on here, Chuck, said that the website crashed a few times, so that could be an issue for the season for sure. Is like, maybe you have 20,000 people on like an amazing powder day, all trying to log on and reserve last minute, and that could I could see some problems coming into play with the website. So we'll see if that's dialed in, and also, yeah, it kind of does suck to pay full price or the same price and then have to reserve. It's almost like, paying for your meal at a restaurant beforehand and then calling to reserve and then being told there's no space. It's not like the nicest it's not the most appealing way to spend your money, is to like give the company your money first and then hope you get to use the product you buy. So definitely a few issues. We'll see how smooth of a process it'll be. Tall Oak says, I have some tips about pain in your feet when you run. It's a very big problem for me when I ride. Do you have any tips? Um, yeah, honestly, the thing that in my experience, the thing that have that the what's given me the most foot pain is bad snowboard boots, or like snowboard boots that are either too stiff. Like stiff snowboard boots have given me foot pain. Also, like um, the BOA system has given me foot pain, and also some brands of boots have given me foot pain, which it may just be me specifically, but I've also had a lot of friends have the same opinion around the same things with like certain brands or certain or like very stiff boots, or even with the BOA system. So, like, what I recommend is to try on boots in the store for a good amount of time with your feet in them, so that with your feet in the boots, you can really get the feeling if there's any weird pressure points or if they're giving you pain. So that's like one thing. But what I found too is a couple of brands that are very comfortable for me is Vans and also Adidas. I've had many friends ride both, and like all of my friends that ride either Vans or Adidas all have had very good experiences with them, like no foot pain. And I also think that softer boots, like from my experience, softer boots just have less foot pain. So maybe try that out, give that a try. Try on a pair of Vans or Adidas softer side with the traditional laces, and yeah, keep your feet in them. See if you have any weird pressure points, if they're giving you any foot pain, and if they don't, then that could be the solution. But yeah, snowboarding and foot pain is definitely can be tough. I've actually a couple times have had like gone into a store, gotten like a professional to like size my foot, get me the perfect boot, like heat mold, do all these different things, and then I go snowboarding and it'll be like the most excruciating, painful boot that I've ever ridden. So I think the answers are maybe somewhere else. But yeah, try that out. Try some Adidas, some Vans, some softer boots with traditional laces, and see how those feel. Shout out to Gavin Hoffman. What's up, Gavin? Thanks for tuning in, man. All right, let's go for one or two more questions. Oh man. Some people saying I'm looking a little bit, oh, red eyes. That's just from the salt water. Too much salt water today. And it's like 12:30 at night. Oh, the 1412 saying we want more videos with TJ. Yeah, go bug TJ on his Instagram and YouTube, and hopefully we'll get TJ back in some videos soon. Lucas saying, "Oh my God, Kevin, you made me get into snowboarding. I bought a board and gear. I love the sport. Thanks, awesome, Lucas, man. So stoked that you got into it, man." Samuel says, "What snowboard profile do you like the most?" Right at the moment, my favorite for park riding is a camber board, and for powder, I would have to say the the Orca has been my favorite profile. So it's the I guess C2 profile with camber between your feet, rocker between your feet, camber underneath, and then rocker towards the tips. So that's been my favorite for powder so far. All right, awesome. Cool, guys. So just coming up on the hour mark. Thank you guys all for tuning in. I hope you guys found this video useful. And yeah, big shout out to all you guys for tuning in. Shout out to Chuck Van for giving me some feedback on the snowboard season down in Australia. And yeah, hope you guys are all safe out there. Hope you guys are all doing well, having a good winter or summer wherever you're at. And yeah, I'll be on here talking to you guys next Thursday. So if you guys haven't yet, hit that subscribe and hit the bell to get notified every time I go live. And yeah, also if you guys have any more questions and I didn't get to them in this chat, just leave them for me below any video, and I get notified about those questions. So if you have any video requests or just questions about the upcoming season, definitely hit me over there. And yeah, thank you guys all for tuning in. Hope you guys have a good week. Thanks again for watching. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Later, guys.